Would you like to know what your tarot card of the year is? Okay, it's super simple. All we got to do is just a little bit of a math equation, and you can figure out what your tarot card for 2024 will be. And I'm going to go through each individual number in this video so you can not only figure out what your card of the year is, but also you can calculate other people in your lives' card of the year and maybe even help them to maybe see what comes up in this next year in 2024. So all you need to do to start is we're going to do a little calculation. So you're going to take your birthday, your birth month, and then the year 2024. And we're going to add up each individual digit. So for example, I always use my birthday, October 12th. So 1 plus 0 plus 1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 4 equals 12. Now the 12th card in the major arcana is the hanged one. And then when we have a double digit number, then I add up each digit of that number, and then I get, so 1 plus 2 equals 3. The third card is the Empress. So we're going to go through each of these. This is from my tarot deck, Be With Your Body Tarot. And I'm a yoga therapist. My name is Sarah Jane, and I'm going to help you to kind of figure out what your card of the year is and what kind of medicine you can learn from this information. So first and foremost, the first major arcana card is the Fool. Now, this is nobody's card of the year because the number is 0. They often call this card the signifier card. So this is the person experiencing it, but I always want to call this out because sometimes people are like, I'm the Fool. It's like, no, you're not. You want the number at the top to match whatever number that you got from your calculation. One more thing to note about the calculation is that if you have 22 and above, keep adding the digits together until you get 21 and below, and then you'll stay in the major arcana numbers. Okay, so we'll put the Fool aside. So if you got 1, then your card for the year is the Magician. And the Magician reminds us that we have all of the magic and all of the tools inside of us to heal. And here's the thing too, there's always some sort of astrological planet or sign, zodiac sign, associated with each of the major arcana cards. And so the Magician is connected to Mercury. Mercury rules over our platonic relationships and our friendships and our thoughts and our words and how we move around and get around. The Magician reminds us that we sometimes need to be reminded of our magic and of our gifts from our friends. We can sometimes forget how much magic we have, and our friends are here to remind us of that. So there's sometimes if you got a couple double digit numbers, you might have 1 or 2, sometimes even 3 cards. So if you got 10, then you got the Wheel of Fortune and the Magician together. Lucky you. The Wheel of Fortune reminds us that luck is not always as it seems. Sometimes the things that we think that we want are not always the best things for us. And sometimes the things that we don't want are actually what we need. And so in this illustration, we decided to call in both poppies, which are poisonous, and jade plants, which are good luck. And if you're just focused on one of these aspects, you're like, oh, this is good, this is bad. No, we want to look at the big picture. And sometimes we notice that all of these things are connected to put the big picture together. So if you also got 19, then you actually got 3 cards for this year. You got 19, and 1 plus 9 is 10, which is the Wheel of Fortune, and then 1 plus 0 is 1, which is the Magician. So lucky, lucky you. Oh my goodness, the Sun card. I love this card so much. This is a reminder that you can experience pleasure. You do not need to earn pleasure. You do not need to earn joy. This is true for everyone, but this is something you're really going to be focusing on in 2024, is really feeling joy, feeling pleasure, feeling the beauty of all of the things that exist. Okay, so if you got 2, then your card of the year is the High Priestess. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous card, and she reminds you to find that deep inner intuition, to trust your body, to trust your intuition. She is connected to the moon. I said like each card has its own astrological planet or sign. Actually, let's go back through each of these. So Mercury is the Magician. The Wheel of Fortune is Jupiter. The Sun is the Sun. And then we have the High Priestess, which is the Moon. And I know that there is a Moon card, but that one represents Pisces. We'll get to it when we get to it. Okay, so the High Priestess, again, this year is going to be about you really learning to listen to yourself, not trying to figure out what other people think you should do, trusting your own body, trusting your own intuition. I often will say our minds are so good at tricking us, but our bodies will always tell us the truth. If you got 11, then your card of the year is Justice, and you also got the High Priestess, right? Because 1 + 1 = 2, so you got a little connection there. Now, the way that I interpret the Justice card in my Be With Your Body tarot deck is that healing is not just about you. Your work in healing is about making the world a better place. If you think that some bodies are better than other bodies, then it'll be really, really hard for you to find peace with your body. By doing your own healing work, whether it's around your body image, your connection to yourself, past healing, however it shows up, if it just centers around you and your own personal growth, that is a dead end, my friend. This card is really going to show up asking you to advocate for others more marginalized than yourself, and to continue to do the healing work to make the world a better place. And there's a little connection here, right? Coming into your intuition, making sure you trust your intuition as this process of healing yourself so you can show up better in the world. This one is, the Justice card is connected to Libra season. And then we have 20. So if you got 20, you got Judgment, and you also got the Priestess, right? 2 + 0 = 2. Judgment is not necessarily about like someone's like, I'm judging you. It's really more about Judgment Day, this like rebirth happening. Look, this person is emerging from the water. They have their arms spread out like big butterfly wings. If you're familiar with lotus flowers, no mud, no lotus. Lotus flowers need to like root deep, deep, deep into the mud to come all the way up through the water and then blossom. So they have to do a lot of work. That means that probably in recent years, you have really done your work. This card's almost towards the end of the major arcana, and you have emerged. You are emerging a new version of yourself. So this is going to be something that you will, and sometimes this can be a very painful card because change can be painful. And on the other side, it is so worth it. The next number that we are doing is 3, the Empress. This is actually my card of the year for 2024. And she reminds us to nurture, nourish, and cultivate creativity in this year. She is ruled by Venus. Oh, I forgot to say, Judgment is connected to Pluto, which is all about transformation. So the Empress is ruled by Venus, and so all things that Venusian, so feminine energy, creativity, money, values, like these are all the themes that are going to show up for you this year. And you might be in the process of trying to create something. I mean, she's pregnant, but like you can be pregnant with things that are not humans, right? You can create a project, you can create artwork, you can create an idea, a business, whatever. Like, what are you trying to bring into this world this year? It's very, very exciting. It's a beautiful, beautiful card to have. And then we have the Hanged One. If you got the Hanged One, you actually have 2 cards because the Hanged One is 12. If you got 12, so 1 + 2 = 3. So those 2 are connected. So the Hanged One is all about finding peace in transition. So this coming year, there might be times when you want to go, and you might, circumstances might ask you to pause. I always say this is like when you're stuck in traffic and you're going to be late for something, there's nothing you can do about it. You're going to be 10 minutes late. That's just the reality of the situation. Your choices, you can honk and try to get around and, be so angry at everyone around you. Or you're like, well, I'm going to be 10 minutes late. This is just the reality of the situation. I'm going to listen to a song that I like, call a friend, whatever. Like, what is your experience with the space in between? That's what's going to come up for you. If you got 21, then you also have 2 cards. You've got the World and the Empress. Again, 2 + 1 = 3. And this card is going to be all about the closing of a cycle. So this is the end of something, the end of some sort of experience for you, and then it will create something new. Now, I know I said no one is the fool, but I just want to call to, in this deck that I co-created, my illustrator, we specifically wanted to connect the Fool and the World card. It's the same person. Look at their hair. But it's like they're entering into a cycle and then they're like going back through the loop. So this card is connected to Saturn. There might be some like structure and order within this new cycle that you are either wrapping up and then maybe creating space for something new. So it's a gorgeous, gorgeous card. If you got 4, then your card of the year is the Emperor. The Emperor, as I see it, and so I actually connect the Emperor and the Empress. I call these two the inner loving parents of the tarot. So the Empress is the parent that's like a little bit more nurturing. And the Emperor is the parent that gives you a little bit more structure. I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to set you up so that you will feel supported. There's like a little bit of a difference there. So the Emperor is such a beautiful opportunity to give yourself some structure into your life that you can feel nurtured, feel supported. So that might be like, make sure you go to all your doctor's appointments this year. That might be, okay, I'm going to make sure that my car is tuned up and my oil is changed. That might be, I have snacks in my car because I know that I get hungry. Like, what is a beautiful, supportive way that you can parent yourself this coming year so that throughout life's ups and downs, you know that you have this like foundation. It's a beautiful, beautiful card. If you got 13, which is the Death card, there's a connection. You actually got 2 cards. You got Death and the Emperor, because 1 and 3 = 4. So the Death card is not about, if you follow any other tarot readers, not about literally dying. It is about the completion of some sort of cycle, creating space for something new, kind of similar to the World card, but in a little bit of a different way. The Death card, we are asked to release, to grieve, to really call in what it is that we need to do to create space for the next thing. In our culture, in Western culture, we want to have everything always, all the time, all at once. And that's just not realistic, right? If you want to get something new or call in something new, something does need to be sacrificed, something does need to be released. And so that is what the Death card is calling on. Like, what needs to be made, what space needs to be made within your life to create space for something new. If you got 5, then your card of the year is the Hierophant. The Hierophant is a teacher, spiritual guide, literal guide. What is it that you are wanting to learn about this year that you might need a little bit of guidance around? So in this card, we've got this teacher, but also mushrooms. And there's this like really beautiful relationship to, you know, the student becomes the teachers become the student. Like, mushrooms are so wise. And also, like, when we die, we go into the earth, and it's like kind of like cycle of life here happening. If you got 14, then you got Temperance, and you have 2 cards, Temperance and the Hierophant. Temperance is all about, yes, balance, yes, contentment, peace, and also a little bit of alchemy. By having the space to find some peace, to not have to like strive and do and more. There is this beautiful shift that can happen. So noticing by trying to do a little bit less this year, finding putting peace as like forefront of what's important for you this year with Temperance, then just notice when we have some space, what kind of magic can come from that space that we can then maybe make something new. If you got 6, then your card of the year is the Lovers. Okay, so the way that I interpret this card, it is not about like smooch, someone that you are intimately, in connection with. Sure, maybe that's what it is. Maybe you're going to find someone that you love this year. Cool, I love this for you. But the way that I see the Lovers is, can we love every part of ourselves? Can you connect, embrace, like they're hugging, every single part of yourself? And the beautiful thing that happens, kind of calling back to the temperance a little bit, when we find this peace, this contentment with ourselves, space magic happens. And then sometimes when we can find peace with ourselves, then we can call in the people, maybe romantic or otherwise, that we do feel supported by. So it's really, really gorgeous. And so before I put this one down, I also want to talk about the connected card to this one, which is the Devil. So if you got 15, then you also got 15 and 6. And look at these two cards together. Right? Two peas in a pod, right? They're very similar illustrations. And that was very intentional. So if the Lovers is telling us, okay, actually embrace every single part of yourselves, the Devil's like, no, but really. No, but actually do that. Because the Devil asks us to look at the parts of ourselves that we do not like, that we actually maybe feel ashamed about. The addiction, the stickiness, the perfectionism, the codependency, the parts of ourselves that we would love to just shove down into a box, lock it up, put it in the basement. No. So when we do that, it'll come out sideways. It'll come out in a really awful way. And so the Devil asks us to look at those parts of ourselves and to hold them kindly and allow them to be what they are. And when we when we name what the thing is where we feel stuck, it gives it less power. So something to think about for this year. If you got 7, then your card of the year is the Chariot. This is actually the card for this year, 2023. So this was the collective card for everyone this year in 2023. So if this is your card for next year, 2024, this card is all about checking in with your body, finding peace within your body so you can focus your attention on where you want to go. When we are not present within ourselves, our senses take over and just like bloop, 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 try to like steer us in a weird direction. When we are present, peaceful, and calm in our bodies, we can find the discernment, we can find the attention to put our ideas in the direction that we want for them to go. And this one is connected to the Tower. So this is 16. This is all about major life change. So what's showing up for you? So often we'll talk about places on the Tower where change might show up. So sometimes you have like a little fire right at the top of the tower and you gotta okay, we gotta put it out. We can repaint and it's good. Sometimes we have destruction right in the middle somewhere of the tower and we gotta rebuild scaffolding. It looks a little bit different. And sometimes there's destruction right at the base and we have to rebuild the whole thing. So there might be parts of your lives that you have to completely restructure. That's going to bring around really big change. And I'm not trying to scare you. This is sometimes one of the more challenging cards in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith or in traditional tarot. And this is why I love these two are connected. And because if you got the Tower, you also got the Chariot. And so, yes, life is changing. And this is just a reminder to continue to be present in your body. In the guidebook for this deck, I talk about how breathing is a really great tool to do that. What kind of embodiment practices can you call upon as your life is changing that will help to guide you through? Where would you like to focus your attention while your life is changing? Something to think about. Okay, so if you got 8, your card of the year is a Strength, and you have the collective card of the year. So this is everyone's card of the year because 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 4 equals 8, and that is the collective card of the year. So if you got Strength, I also did a video on just this card. If you got Strength, then you are asked to really find this inner fortitude, discernment about what feels uncomfortable versus what feels unsafe. If something feels unsafe, obviously we want to get out of there. If something feels uncomfortable, could we sit in that feeling and see what we can learn from it? We will collectively be asked to really look at this theme for this year. Inner strength, really listening to ourselves, listening to your body, and trying to make wise decisions from that place. If you got 17, then your card of the year is the Star. And you also got Strength. You got both together. So the Star is you are supported by the universe. And there's a reason why if we're doing like 1, 2, 3 numerology, the Tower comes right before the Star. The Star comes right after the Tower. After this major life change, so if you get the Star this year, you probably had the Tower last year or this past year. The Star is a reminder that you are supported. It is like a big breath after a huge storm. After like the giant mess, there's like a peace and a support that happens. And it's like, okay, now we can see what's happening and we can gather our information and we can move forward because we know we are supported. It's gorgeous. All right, last 2 cards. If you got 9, then your card of the year is the Hermit. And this year might be a year for you to really spend a little bit of time with yourself, introspection, connecting to the deep inner wisdom within yourself. Maybe taking a little bit of a break from the hustle and bustle and checking in with your own body. And if you got 18, then your card of the year is the Moon. You got the Moon and the Hermit. If you got the Moon, then this card is connected to Pisces. We got the little fish there. And so the Moon is all about sitting in the unknown, finding peace in the place between. And the Hermit it's so interesting to have these two connected. And I'm realizing right now that I did not go through all the astrology. So we're actually going to go through that really quickly here at the end. But the Moon is Pisces. The Hermit is Virgo. If you know anything about astrological signs, these are opposite signs from each other. And these cards very much support each other. Taking time by yourself, feeling this like your own inner wisdom, and having this peace with the space unknown, the place in between. Can you like sit with things that you don't know what's going to happen next? And these two cards kind of need each other. So I'm going to go back through each card and talk about the astrological connections to them as I go back through each number. So again, we have the Moon, if you got 18, the Hermit, if you got 9, the Star, if you got 17, and this one is connected to Aquarius. Strength, if you got 8, and this one's connected to Leo, and these two, again, are connected numerologically, and they're also opposite sun signs, which is kind of cool. The Chariot, if you got 7, this one's connected to Cancer. And the Tower, if you got 16, which is connected to Mars. The Devil, if you got 15, this one's connected to Capricorn. Lovers, if you got 6, this one is connected to Gemini. If you got 14, we've got Temperance, which is connected to Sagittarius. The Hierophant, if you got 5, this is connected to Taurus. If you got 13, this is the Death card. This is connected to Scorpio. The Emperor, if you got 4, this is connected to Aries. The Hanged One, if you got 12, this one is connected to Neptune. The Empress, if you got 3, this one's connected to Venus. Judgment, if you got 21, this one's connected to Pluto. Justice, if you got 11, this one's connected to Libra. The High Priestess, if you got 2, this is connected to the Moon. 19, if you got the Sun, this one is connected to the Sun. 21, if you got the World, this is connected to Saturn. If you got 10, Wheel of Fortune, this is connected to Jupiter. And if you got 1, the Magician, this one's connected to Mercury. And the Fool is connected to Uranus. So Feel free to leave any comments or any questions. And I'm so excited to see if you relate to your card for 2024.